Good morning, everyone. This is Anthony, Wall Street Trader. It's 8:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, May 29th, 2021. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. This is intended only for educational purposes. So please trade at your own risk, do your own due diligence, and don't invest what you can't afford to lose. Twitter link below if you'd like to subscribe to any intraday updates, such as trades I want to put on and or major market moves. In addition to that, if you want to click subscribe, I do two other videos related to other cryptocurrencies other than NuCypher, which are RLC or iExec, and the other one is the Graph or GRT. Anyway, currently my NuCypher allocation obviously hasn't changed. I'm fully baked, as I mentioned several times in the last few videos. I have no intention of adding any more to my position, so I am currently in at an average buy price of 43.7 cents. I still don't expect this to happen this weekend in terms of an exit point to de-risk and then further deploy at a lower price. I like to sell into strength. Right now, we're kind of in the weakness area. And let's go to the charts because they are pretty much telling in that regard. Okay. So we're still in the downtrend. Nothing new here. As if you've been following these videos, you'll know very well that we tend to look at this as kind of an output screen here. So NuCypher US dollar currently on the downtrend. That being said, it's not like we haven't been in this area before. I don't anticipate us going much lower here. And a couple of reasons why. Number one, Bitcoin showed some bearishness here. As I mentioned yesterday, we probably hit around 35,000 and start bouncing back. Well, we hit 35. We went a little lower than 35, but we're kind of stuck in the 35, between the 34 and 36 range at this point. So, we have to let this play out. This seemed to be a head and shoulders pattern. So as this thing plays on, I think it's trying to find some new pattern at this point. So I think we're kind of range bound regardless of what people are saying in terms of, going to 50,000 this weekend. I never thought that. I'd like to see us start approaching to 40,000 at this point. 40.42 is a sweet spot. When I mentioned that I wanted to get to 40.42 earlier in the week, if you've been watching these videos, I mentioned that we probably would get to 40.42. We got there squarely a couple of times within the 40 to 41 range, but then pulled back into this pattern here. So we have to let it play out. I anticipate we'll start creeping up this weekend, more closer to 37, 38, and hopefully by Monday back to 40.42. But again, nothing certain here. This is just my my overview of what this thing looks like here, which could be a huge upside, inverted head and shoulders pattern as well. But again, we have to see how the weekend plays out. So tread carefully here. All right, NuCypher Bitcoin is holding its own. We're in the middle of this, what I consider, I mentioned yesterday a couple of times in two different videos on NuCypher that we should overlay this chart with kind of where we see topping patterns in the NuCypher Bitcoin pair. So as we see this thing roll along throughout, the future, my anticipation is that this will start curling back up in a methodical, slow, yet volatile way, because the distance between the top line and the bottom line can be, 300 to 400 points. That's a significant, that's like 30%, like 30% to 35% volatility in the coin at a minimum. So, we have to, and remember that it's not just this chart that drives NuCypher US dollar, it's also the Bitcoin chart. So I put this here just to kind of have an idea roughly of where we're kind of on the rich side when we get closer to the line, and where it gets cheaper is when we're kind of at the bottom of the line. So if I have a plan to buy NuCypher, for example, I might wait for a little bit more of a pullback here and buy some, and then wait for it to go back up and maybe sell some. If I'm more of a shorter term trader, I'm not. I'm in this for the long term. Why? Because I actually think that it's hard to time this stuff. Yeah, you can look at some of these cupping patterns to kind of get some indication. And honestly, but I still think our trend is up. So I'm okay with leaving it there, less hassle for me, and just let it ride back up. Again, this is purely projection and this is not based on anything anecdotal. It's purely based on, some quantitative past performance. So I do have a future view in terms of where I think ultimately the NuCypher US dollar pair will be going. And, it's based on a couple of conditions. One is, where do I think Bitcoin's going to be by the end of the year? That's an easier thing to predict. I mean, we all kind of, the charts are more reliable in the Bitcoin universe than they are in the altcoin universe. The other thing is the NuCypher Bitcoin pair. That's the other contributing factor to my year-end prediction. Where do I expect this thing to be at the end of the year? Well, I don't expect it to be all the way mooned, but I expect it more realistically to be somewhere in a range that I think, you have to look at your most optimistic view, your most pessimistic view, and then kind of land somewhere in the middle. And it's a bit of an art. It's not a perfect science. Anyone that tells you it is wrong. So here's what I'm going to do. Tonight or tomorrow, I will be posting my year-end prediction for NuCypher Bitcoin. I'll be looking at a conservative view. I'll be looking at an optimistic view, and I will be looking at a more realistic middle of the road view in terms of where I anticipate NuCypher US dollar to be. Anyway, with that, for those who are in sunnier areas, here in New York, it's cloudy and rainy and cold. For those of you in warmer areas, enjoy your outdoors for the Memorial Day weekend. Either way, wherever you are, hope you're having a good day. We'll talk soon.